So I think I'm still screen sharing.
Yeah, I was going to say Talina's still screen sharing right now.
Yeah,
Oh,
I can hit the stop. Okay.
Excellent. Welcome, everyone. We are so glad that you're here today joining us. Welcome to Bloomerang Academy. Go ahead and share my screen. And I would like to ask you today, we're going to start off by testing our chat and make sure that's working really well for us. So here's your question today. It's not going to be about the weather. I'm actually changing it today. Those of you that attend regularly know we usually ask about weather. But since we are post-Halloween, my question is, what is your favorite kind of Halloween candy? If you would just put that in the chat for us, please. So curious. Snickers is winning. Anything caramel. Jill, I'm with you. That sounds amazing. Reese's, yes. Very high. Roll-up. Yeah, these are all good. Oh, what about you, Talina? What's your favorite? Oh, he's popping.
Growing up, it was probably Reese's and Snickers.
Oh, yeah.
Anything with peanuts.
Anything with peanuts. Oh, 100 grand. Yeah, I haven't seen 100 grand in a while. That's a good one. Candy corn. Elizabeth, that's unusual. That's a good one. What about you, Diana? Do you have a favorite?
I'm kind of with anything with caramel. I love.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Well, this is great. Hopefully you didn't have too much candy last night and you're ready to rock and roll with our academy this morning and learn some wonderful things about peer-to-peer fundraising. So let's get started. Our dial-in number, in case you should need it at any point, is 1-669-900-6833. And I will drop that into the chat in just a few minutes in case you lose audio or need audio for other reasons today. Now, just a little bit of housekeeping. We do have live transcripts. So should you want to be able to see the captions, it will be a live rolling transcript if you click on the live transcript button on your toolbar. Also, we just worked with our chat. This is a great place to share ideas. As Talina is sharing with us today, maybe you have some ideas around peer-to-peer fundraising that you've done that have worked really well. Please pop those into the chat. We love to see those and be able to share those with the group. But if you should have a question that you really need an answer to, a burning question, we want you to put that into the Q&A section. That way, Diana Otero, who's on the back end, myself, or Talina can answer those for you. So that way they don't get lost in the chat. So that's kind of the difference between those two. But those are two great ways to interact with our session today. Other housekeeping items quickly, the resources mentioned in this session will be linked on the resources slides and also throughout the presentation, and we'll be sharing the slides with you. And all of the recording and everything after this session is done, we will share it in an email with you. So you don't need to worry about copying down links or anything of that nature. Any questions that we're not able to answer live or be able to type in an answer to you in the Q&A, we will get back with you after the session. We do keep that and we come back and revisit those. So don't worry, your questions will be answered even if they're not answered here today. And if you need any further assistance, please do not hesitate to reach out to our amazing support team at support@bloomerang.com. So quickly, let's go ahead and we are going to do a quick poll. And we actually have two polls, two questions on this poll today. So what is your experience with peer-to-peer fundraising? And you can see the different choices there. And then, does your organization currently use Kindful fundraising tools? So if you would go ahead and vote, let us know where you are on these questions. Okay, great. Oh, this is changing rapidly. I was going to start saying something and I was like, nope, wait, hold on. All right, so it looks like most of you are in the exploratory stages of peer-to-peer fundraising, which is great because this session is going to give you a lot of wonderful ideas. Some of you already have it as part of your current efforts, and you've been with organizations in the past. So it looks like if you picked other and you want to put into the chat what you feel is the appropriate answer, feel free to do that. We'd love to see that as well. And as far as people using Kindful fundraising tools, it looks like we have about 65% who are not using Kindful at this time and 35% who are. So that's great to see. It's good information for us as we move forward. So, all right, let's go ahead then. And I'm going to introduce our wonderful panelist who's going to be with us today to share more about peer-to-peer fundraising. Talina Goldsberry is a customer success manager at Bloomerang. She's been 7 years. She has experience in the nonprofit fundraising world, mostly as a development director at the Waltham Boys and Girls Club. Talina is passionate about helping to create a better world through the power of kindness, philanthropy, and community. And she is one of the most engaging speakers I've ever seen. So with that, not to just hype you up too much, Talina, with that, I'm going to turn it over to Talina and let her share with you about peer-to-peer fundraising.
All right. Let's see. Are y'all able to see my screen?
It looks good.
All right. Fantastic. Well, I'll start out by saying peer-to-peer is one of my favorite types of fundraisers, and I am really excited to get to spend this time with you today. So today we'll be talking about reasons to pursue a peer-to-peer fundraising strategy. So this includes how it can promote your campaign success, how it can be built into your overall fundraising strategy, and why Bloomerang's Kindful Fundraising Tools add-on is the platform to choose for hosting these efforts. Fundraising and nonprofit professionals are some of the most creative people I know. I'll be showing you a few creative and fun examples of campaigns set up by our customers. Then we'll be taking a look at the back end of Kindful fundraising tools. While we're in there, I'm going to show you how quick and easy it is to set up a peer-to-peer fundraising event. And if you have any questions as we go along, like Marjorie mentioned, please drop these in the chat and we'll have some time at the end of the presentation for any questions you may have. So to give you a little background, Bloomerang and Kindful joined forces to give you the best of both products in one platform, expanding the online fundraising tools available to Bloomerang customers while also creating a seamless giving experience for your donors. Our Kindful fundraising tools add-on includes a variety of features. Today we'll be focusing on peer-to-peer fundraising. And for those who aren't familiar with this concept, peer-to-peer fundraising is when supporters solicit donations from their networks to raise money on behalf of the organization. This involves participants setting up an individual fundraising page, setting up a goal for how much they want to raise, and asking friends and family members for donations. I'd also like to highlight some of the ways that these tools can help increase your organization's efficiency and streamline fundraising operations. So at Bloomerang, we strive to be an extra teammate for you to save you time, decrease costs and administrative work, and to allow you to focus on what matters most, pursuing your mission. So Kindful Fundraising Tools is a Bloomerang product, which means that you can rely on the same helpful support team for all your fundraising needs. We know that many organizations may be new to peer-to-peer fundraising or Kindful fundraising tools. So please know that you can lean on us for help. I used to be a Bloomerang user back when I worked at the Boys and Girls Club, and I reached out to the support team via live chat more than I care to admit. So they are a phenomenal resource, and I highly recommend them. The Kindful fundraising tools will also help simplify your operations. So having one platforms for donor management and for fundraising tools allows you to track giving and donor relationships closely and with ease. It also allows you to manage just one contract for all your fundraising and donor management needs. And having all of this available in one platform makes reconciliation easy with payout and fee reporting available right from your database. All right, friends. Let's go ahead and get started. So why peer-to-peer? Well, first off, I would like to challenge this question by asking, why not? So peer-to-peer fundraising is a tried and true strategy for promoting fundraising success. Studies have found that returning peer-to-peer fundraising participants can raise 3.5 times more funds than new participants. So if you think about this from a dollar standpoint, if you have a participant who raised $100 last year and they signed up to raise funds again this year, it's likely that they could bring in $350. And this is just one participant. So what would happen if you had 10, 50, 100? And another thing that I really love about peer-to-peer fundraising is how scalable it is. So many people who care about organizations often don't have fundraising experience, and peer-to-peer fundraising allows you to equip your fundraisers for success by providing templates for emails, social media. You could also share tips and tricks to help them reach their fundraising potential. And the more specific you can be, the better. Once your campaign is set up and your materials are developed, you can share these with as many people as you want. Also, the materials can be updated from one year to the next. So to illustrate the impact of this, research shows that peer-to-peer fundraisers who send emails raise between 2 and 11 times more than participants who don't send any at all. Plus, peer-to-peer fundraising is fun. It allows you to encourage friendly competition by incorporating gamification, and the organization can have an overarching campaign goal, but the individual teams can set goals of their own. Peer-to-peer is also a great opportunity to engage your existing supporters and volunteers in a way that doesn't require them to donate. This is also a great chance to expand your supporter network. So in my experience in fundraising, volunteers and friends of an organization often have a list of people who they know would be great prospects. However, finding ways to introduce them to the organization can be difficult. And pair this with the fact that asking for money can be tough, especially for those who are new to fundraising, and you are left spinning your wheels, looking at the same list of prospects over and over again. So peer-to-peer fundraising is an excellent way to break this cycle and introduce these prospects and many other new friends to your organization. So it creates a simple, rewarding, and fun opportunity for your champions to share why your mission is near and dear to their hearts and invite others to join them in investing in your work. And maybe this is just the fundraiser in me talking, but anytime I give to a peer-to-peer fundraising campaign, I feel a rush of excitement when I see the thermometer go up. It is so satisfying, and it really fills my heart to know that I've done something meaningful for a friend, family member, or colleague, and something that's also making a positive impact on the world. A big benefit of using Kindful fundraising tools is that your Bloomerang database is set up to help you cultivate relationships with these new donors, both new and returning, and therefore promoting retention. So with donation information flowing from your Kindful fundraising tools database to your Bloomerang database, you will be able to segment the communications with ease. So let's say that you want to segment a list of individuals who gave to particular campaign and send them an email thanking them for joining, and with the campaign results, you could do that very easily. You could also segment your new donors. Maybe you want to send them a welcome packet, or you could also set up a list of donors who you'd like to make thank you calls to. So these are all things that you can do right from within Bloomerang. We won't be delving too much into this aspect of the system today, but there are lots of really great resources available through Bloomerang Academy on these topics. Another benefit of peer-to-peer is that it's incredibly versatile. It can be used for all types of events or campaigns. The most common examples are for physical activities such as 5K runs, which involve participants paying a fee to register for the event and, should they wish, also setting up and customizing a fundraising page to be shared online with friends and family. That said, there are so many other ways that peer-to-peer can be used. This could be a board member campaign for Giving Tuesday, a campaign to fund a new playground, or you could even let folks fundraise for the organization by coming up with their own activity. I have seen organizations create challenges, tournaments, games, and other creative ways to engage team fundraising using this tool. Your creativity really is the only limit, and we're excited to show you some examples. So I will start out telling about Artist Boat. So as you'll see in a moment, they've done a fabulous job at making fundraising on their behalf easy and equipping their fundraisers for success. So here you'll see a screenshot from Artist Boat's website where they explain why this fundraising effort is so important, and provide a variety of options for folks to get involved by donating, creating a peer-to-peer fundraising page, or by finding the specific team they'd like to support. By placing all of this information right on their website, the organization has automated the process, increasing their efficiency and reducing the amount staff might have had to spend on coordination. One of my favorite elements on this webpage is the setup guide and tips of fundraisers that they've provided. And I've included a couple of screenshots from their guide. The information on this document helps make it easy for supporters to help your organization by eliminating points of friction that may prevent people from participating in peer-to-peer fundraising. So as you can see, they've included a detailed guide on how to set up a fundraiser with some pictures and screenshots. In addition, they've also added sample messaging that people can copy, paste, customize, and then share via email and social media. And here you can see their peer-to-peer fundraising campaign using Kindful fundraising tools. So it includes some of the options that were linked on their website, such as donating to the overall campaign, creating a team, which refers to setting up an individual peer-to-peer fundraising page, and you also have the option to invite others to help you towards your personal goal. On the right, there's also a list of everybody who has created pages on behalf of the organization. And as you can see, all of them have set up their own individual goals. So there really is no pressure for your fundraisers to add a number that they're not necessarily comfortable with. So it's another way to make the experience easier for them. Up next, I'll also be telling you about Comfort Zone Camp's ingenious approach to peer-to-peer giving. I really love this example because they're empowering their donors to be creative and setting up their own DIY fundraising, which is a model that's becoming increasingly popular. It gives supporters the opportunity to create their own fundraiser based on milestones in their lives and other activities they enjoy. So you can give them the tools, allow them to be creative with their page, and then the fundraising dollars all go back to your organization. So Comfort Zone Camp actually calls it do-it-yourself fundraising right on their website. And they've made it easy to get involved by creating a 3-step process for fundraisers to follow and raise funds on the organization's behalf. So here, as you can see, the first step prompts supporters to create their fundraiser by clicking on the big red button. And we'll be walking through that process here in a little bit. Then the second step is to share, so spreading the word and inviting family members and friends to support their fundraiser. Then step 3 is to fundraise, raising funds to help grieving children in need. So the ease of created by the 3-step visual is especially helpful for encouraging those who may be new to soliciting donations or to peer fundraising. So if you look at their fundraising page here, they've allowed anyone to sign up on their website and create a DIY fundraiser all on their own. So they can have this page up year-round. So even if they don't have any big campaigns going on at any given moment, there can still be all of these fundraising efforts going on throughout the year. And here are a few examples of how people's creativity shines when allowed to come up with their own fundraisers through DIY. So for example, we have a couple of trivia nights. There's a baking fundraiser, as well as like your standard fundraiser where you're asking for people to contribute. So people can take advantage of like important milestones in their lives or activities they enjoy to come up with new fundraisers. And before we jump into the system, I wanted to show you another illustration of what donors and fundraisers see. As you can see, there's a goal thermometer. There's also the option for social media sharing and an activity feed where your donors can include a message to help keep the momentum going. So now I'm excited to show you the process for setting up your peer-to-peer campaigns. So we will start out from the Bloomerang database. When organizations that Kindful fundraising tools to their account, they will see this cloud icon on the left-hand side on the menu. First-time users will be prompted to set up the Bloomerang payments payment processor, which is a requirement in order to use Kindful fundraising tools. And Bloomerang payments is available to all Bloomerang users, and regardless of whether you have Kindful fundraising tools or not. Once the payment processor is set up, you'll be able to click on the Kindful fundraising tools icon, where you'll be able to set up your different fundraisers, which will in turn flow into your Bloomerang database. So here's the dashboard. The dashboard offers an overview of giving through Kindful fundraising tools forms throughout the year. There's also a year-to-year view if it's a tool that you've been using for a while. Here you can also see clickable lists of active campaigns, crowdfunding efforts, events, and donation plugins. So in order to get started, if this is your first time using the system, we recommend going to General Settings. This is right here. This is where you'll set up some like security measures, like whether you want to require like CAPTCHA, information about your organization. So for example, all of this here under contact information would be visible to your donors. With the Kindful forms, you also have the option to set up either the name of your organization and or your logo at the top. And you could make these clickable, like if you want these to redirect to your website. So here's where you would enter those links if that's something you wanted to do. Down here is where you would upload the logos and select your preferences on how you'd like that to be displayed. And if your organization uses Google Analytics, you can also have your tracking ID code placed on all public pages. And make sure to hit submit so all of your data is saved. So up next, we'll want to set up our fundraising settings. We will start out with funds, and this is the first step to linking your Kindful fundraising tools to your Bloomerang database. So you'll see that there is a general fund set up for you. You can add as many more as you'd like. All you have to do is hit new fund and enter the new one. So once your funds are set up, we're going to go back to fundraising settings, and we'll check out transaction settings. So this is where you can set up further customization for CAPTCHA requirements. So like how many times a person can attempt to make a donation before they're required to complete the little CAPTCHA test. You can also give donors the option to cover the processing fees for the donation. In order to do this, all you have to do is check the box here and enter the percentage. You can also set up a successful transaction messaging, which will be sent to their email with a receipt for their donation. You can also include a brief message to be displayed once the donation is made, so that donors know that their transaction has been successfully processed. So with those receipt emails, you can also set up an email address to where if a donor has questions or they want to get in touch with your organization after making a donation, they can just hit reply and get a hold of somebody who can help them. And once again, you'll want to make sure to hit save and update organization to make sure all of your changes are saved. So there's also the fundraising page themes. We won't be delving too much into that today. This is an advanced feature to implement custom styles. So this should only be used for those who are comfortable with HTML and CSS. And we recommend consulting with a web developer if this is not the case for your organization. And before creating a crowdfunding cause, you should have a Kindful fundraising campaign created for all of your related contributions to flow into. So for that, we'll want to go up here to campaigns. And just as with the funds, in general, will have been created for you, but we'll be walking through the process of what setting up a campaign is like. So we'll hit new campaign. All right. So here you can select the name, these are the funds that have already been created. So the ones that we set up earlier will show up here. And select a page title as well as a description. So let's create a new one. And we can get our description. You can also include custom checkout text. And if you wish, like if your organization maybe has a thank you video that you'd like to show your donors, like that way when their donation is completed, they can be redirected to your website so they can watch it. That's something that you can totally do. So all you have to do is enter your URL here. You also have the option to disable one-time payments, making forms exclusively for recurring giving. Here, there will be also a mapping section based on all of the fund campaigns and appeals that are set up in your Bloomerang database. So anything you've already set up will show up on this drop-down menu. So we'll make some selections. Here you can select an amount that's non-tax deductible if there's any costs associated with the particular effort. With the goal amount, you would enter that here. You can select whether or not to show it. And these are some customization options for your fundraisers. And you'll also be able to add a splash image to be the background of the fundraiser, or if you don't have anything that's that big, you could also use a standard image that'll show up a little bit smaller. And something that's really cool is that there's a high level of customization. You can decide what you want the donate button to show up as. So it could be donate now, but you could update that if you'd like. The theme colors, if your organization's colors don't necessarily match the ones available here, you can hit custom and enter the hex code for your organization's branding colors. Another piece that's really neat, and especially with how it integrates with Bloomerang, is that custom fields that you have available in Bloomerang can also be added to your forms. So here you can have up to 5 constituent custom fields and 3 transaction fields, and you're able to search for them. So let's say one that I set up previously is like, how did you hear about us? And you can determine whether or not this field is required, or later on you may choose to hide or show that field depending on your needs. So then you'll go to create your campaign. So in order to create the campaign, we will go to crowdfunding. All right. So to set up a new campaign, all you have to do is hit add new. You can set up the name of your fundraiser. And based on that name, the URL path will be automatically created. You can add a cost description, so very similar to what we set up with the campaign page. Here, you'll be able to select the campaigns. So this will be based on the ones that we selected, we set up a little bit earlier. You can also set a maximum number of teams or a maximum numbers of participants per team if that's something that your organization determines to be appropriate. So the dates also show you like when the fundraiser will be active. So for example, let's say that you're doing a fundraiser for Giving Tuesday and you have a group of volunteers that want to start fundraising for you now. You could say the start date is today. And the event date is Giving Tuesday. So we'll say November 29th. And you want to let them fundraise or keep their pages open, let's say through the end of the year. So this is the time window in which the page will be accessible. Here, there will also be additional syncing options for mapping. So it's the same fund campaigns and appeal that we covered under the campaign page, as well as the goal. What I will say is that if what you select here is different from what was set up in the campaign piece from earlier, the information here will supersede what was set up on the campaign. we will make our selection. And you can select whether or not to displace the cost goal. So under abilities, these are different options of what you can make available for your fundraiser. So if you want their pages to show how many days are left, if you want to allow team members to have profiles, if you want to let them enter pledges, these are all things that you can customize here. So I will note that pledges are currently not syncing over to your Bloomerang database. This is more for like a tracking standpoint for your fundraisers. But yes, okay. So up next, there's the messaging piece. So here it'll be preset to team, but you could really call it whatever you want. The default will at the top of the header will be like support a team. And if this is something you want to change, all you have to do is update the text here. By clicking allow registration on cost page, you let people sign up to become fundraisers. You can add instructions to new team leaders. And if you wish, maybe you have a page of like instructions on a PDF on your website, or you have a page on your website with directions, you can add those links here as well. So the goal here, the goal will be the recommended goal for your fundraising team. So let's say that we want to suggest a $500 target. However, you can also let them change it if they want to make it a bigger or a smaller number. Like you can leave that and have it be up to them. So under customizations, you can also let the fundraisers can also set up the color that they like. You can also allow Facebook comments. So how I showed you a little bit earlier, there was the section on the social media connection where any comments on Facebook will also be syncing on the page. And you can, again, edit what shows up on the donate button. So with sharing, you can customize the phrasing for the social media sharing buttons for the cause. So what you add here will automatically display in a tweet or a Facebook post for the user to spread the word. So once all of this is done, you'll hit save. And at this point, you have created your crowdfunding page. So you can make changes to anything. You just set up by hitting edit. So right here. You can make changes as needed, or additionally, you can also go to the public page to get a preview of what it looks like. So up next, I'm going to show you what reporting looks like within Bloomerang. So if you want to pull a report for donations made through Bloomerang forms, you will want to go here to the report section. You would click new, build a report from scratch, and transactions. For the filters, you would search for integration name and enter Kindful. So once you hit OK, you will see a list of all of the donations that have been made through Kindful forms. Through the filtering tools, you're able to further segment these as needed. Like maybe you're only looking for a specific campaign. However, a neat trick is to select the particular field. Like in this case, I'm selecting campaign, and you can say group by this column. So we'll hit OK. So what this will do is that it'll group all of the campaigns in their own row. You'll get to see the total. So here's like annual campaign, here's for 2022, here's the playground for kiddies. So it gives you a really easy visual for this. If there's specific information that you're looking for, like you could add columns, let's say to add a phone number. So let's say constituent, and you want to include their phone numbers. Hit OK. That way you can make thank you calls. You could totally do it here. And the The filters on the emails tool as well as the letters tool works very similarly to reporting. So you could segment your communications, like I mentioned, is to thank people who gave to a specific campaign, who gave maybe to like a certain amount. It's totally up to you. All right, so I'm going to switch back to the presentation. So, oops. There we go. All right. So if you would like to get the Kindful Fundraising Tools add-on, here's how you'd get started. So the first step would be to connect to Bloomerang Payments. Like I mentioned, anybody can do this. This will be accessible right from your database. And then please contact us at customer.accounts@bloomerang.com to add Kindful Fundraising Tools to your subscription. So our team will be happy to help you with that. And after that, you'll be able to follow the steps covered today to set up Kindful Fundraising online tool forms, as well as your peer-to-peer fundraising campaigns. So a little bit about Bloomerang Payments. It's another way to further centralize your fundraising operations, because this would give you one vendor for donor management and payment processing. And the benefits include better support, faster deposits, and integrated reporting. The activation process is really fast and easy, and you can be set up raising money online in just minutes. So in the resources at the end of the presentation, I've linked a guide that walks you through the setup process if this is something you're interested in exploring. And the great thing about it is that for any troubleshooting or how-to questions about this, you can reach out to our support team the same way you would for anything else. And in terms of pricing, the Bloomerang, the Kindful Fundraising Tools add-on for accounts with 1,000 records or more, it is 15% of the database cost. It'll vary depending on the size of your organization, but that's the rule of thumb here. And I think with everything we covered today in mind, I mean, I'd like to reiterate, like, why not try peer-to-peer fundraising? Like, it's really a fun way to engage your supporters and volunteers to raise more funds, like grow your network and your supporter base. So if you're considering adding peer-to-peer to your fundraising strategy, I've also included some links and helpful articles as you go through this process to evaluate it. And again, if you have any questions, troubleshooting, or how-to inquiries, you can reach out to the support team by clicking on the question mark icon on the upper right corner of your database. There's also the helps and video section, which will take you to the Bloomerang knowledge base. So here you can enter keywords for what you're trying to look up, and you'll get a list of articles and resources that have been put together by our support team to make all of these operations easier for you. So this marks the end of my presentation, and I really appreciate you taking the time to join us today. And I look forward to answering any questions.
Hi, Talina. Great presentation. Thank you so much for sharing all of that information with us. We do have a few questions. So the first one is from Scott, and he wants to know, how did you go to the public page? Is there a way that you could demo how you accessed the public page?
Of course.
Yeah.
So we'll go back here to the crowdfunding page. We'll set up the specific campaign that we were looking at. And you're able to hit preview here. You can also access that. Oops, I'm going to go back here. By instead of hitting edit, you can just click directly on public and get that view.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Another question that we have from Jenny. She was wondering, she said that she'd like to have the computer technician that she works with do the setup for peer-to-peer, but she doesn't want that person necessarily to have access to donor records. Is it possible for that person to be able to set up the peer-to-peer without necessarily having access to donor records?
So in order to access the Kindful fundraising tools, like option here, the user needs to have administrator permissions.
Mhm.
So to access the backend, unfortunately, that may not be an option.
Yeah. And I'm wondering too, Jenny, if you might be able to maybe let him use your access with your permission and your oversight or something. Like maybe there's some way to work that out, but it does sound like you have to have admin permissions. Is that correct, Helena?
Yes.
Yeah. So thank you for that. Appreciate that. And then also Christy asked a great question too. She said, it seems like in this system's team represents individual fundraisers. Is there a way where groups of fundraisers can work together on teams? She said other types allow groups to work together on teams through the peer-to-peer system.
Yes. So when you hit up the create a team, you can set up the fundraiser for just yourself. However, you'll also have the option to invite people to raise money alongside you, like towards that same goal. So you can have a team goal, and then each one of the fundraisers can have their own personal goal as well. So what that'll look like is once you set up your fundraiser, you'll say invite teammates. You'll enter their contact information, their email, and that'll prompt them to do the setup.
Wonderful. And then if somebody is on this call today, and let's say that they're a Bloomerang customer, what would you say are the top reasons that they should consider adding Kindful as part of their subscription?
I think right now it's especially a great time to consider it with Giving Tuesday coming up. I know peer-to-peer giving is really explodes there towards Giving Tuesday through end of year, and once you get through the setup process, it really flows on its own, and it becomes I would consider a very sustainable and scalable strategy that organizations of all sizes can adopt.
Yeah, absolutely. And then how does it flow to Bloomerang? Is that part of the benefit too?
Yes. So here we have this pulled up. I can show you a quick example. So under the donation, so once the donation goes through a form, it'll show up on your Bloomerang database, same as they would through any donation through standard forms. Under the method of payment, you'll be able to tell that they were processed through Kindful fundraising, but all of the information will show up the same, and will be available for reporting equally.
Excellent. That's so great. Thank you so much. Are there any other questions? I know a lot of times we get those the last minute rush of questions. So I'm going to see if we have anyone else who's got a question regarding peer-to-peer fundraising, which also, by the way, is not just for Giving Tuesday. This is a really great tool to be able to utilize for a lot of different occasions. I know that I work on a board for a nonprofit in our area, and they use this as part of their anniversary fundraising. So they were doing some anniversary fundraising and developed some peer-to-peer. So it's a great way to be able to utilize. You can utilize it for more than just Giving Tuesday.
For sure. Yes.
All right. Well, I'm not seeing any other questions coming in. So I do want to go ahead and we're going to launch our final poll for the day. Oh, we got the last minute question. I just knew someone was out there with a question. I could feel it. So Deirdre says, can you once more indicate how we add the package and get pricing? So one more time, can you tell us that?
Absolutely.
Thank you, Deirdre.
Yes. So in order to add it, oops, there we go. You would just send us an email through customer.accounts@bloomerang.com. I know Margie will also be setting up a poll where if you're interested in adding it, you can mark that you're interested, and we'll have somebody from our customer success team reach out.
Excellent, great. We have one more question from Christy. The examples you gave had buttons to make it easy. How do we create those links?
So for those, that would be done through your website. So this is something that you may want to get whoever manages your website involved. But just from experience as somebody who had to learn website management on the go, it's not a super complicated option to add these buttons. And then what you do is that you would link the URL from the Kindful Fundraising, the URL for Kindful Fundraising onto those buttons on your website.
Excellent. All right. All right. And so Jenny is asking a question, and I'm trying, Jenny, if you can give me some more detail. I want to ask your question, but I want to make sure that I'm doing it correctly. So if you can just give me a little bit more on that. And while we're waiting to get that in, I'm going to go ahead and launch our ending poll. So this is our final poll for today. Would you like to find out more about adding Kindful fundraising tools to your Bloomerang subscription? You can answer yes, please, or no, thank you, not at this time. So either is a great response. And if you answer yes, we will definitely get you connected with someone who can give you more information. Those of you wanting the pricing information, you can answer yes, and we would definitely have somebody get with you quickly about that. So feel free to answer the poll. All right. Oh, excellent. Thank you, Jenny. I appreciate that. So Jenny says she loves the poll tool. Is there a cost for this? Is it only used in on the fundraising platform?
I'm sorry, the poll tool?
The poll tool. Oh, are you talking about the one I'm using right now, Jenny, to ask you questions? Is that what you're talking? Yes. Okay, good. I'm so glad to go. Okay, Jenny, that is actually part of Zoom, and it is really cool, isn't it? I love that they have this. So it's actually a part of Zoom, and you can set it up inside your webinars, and it's just one of the features that's in there. It's pretty cool. I know, right? Wow. She says, wow. I know. And it's something kind of hidden. So I'll send you an email and I'll show you where it is exactly so that you have the down low on that. So no problem. Glad to help. All right, great. Well, Talina, thank you so much. I really appreciate you being here today and sharing all of this information with us. It's always a pleasure to have your presence. So thank you. And to those of you who attended today, thank you for being with us. We really greatly appreciate it. Please do visit our website, look for more upcoming webinars that you'll be able to attend that'll give you more information about how to most effectively use your Bloomerang platform. So thank everyone and have a great afternoon.
Thanks.